Welcome back to coding challenge number 4, our basketball drills challenge. In this challenge, we are going to be, again, programming our robot to be fully autonomous or drive by itself without us controlling it. And it will perform simple basketball drills of driving up and down the court at different distances. Okay, so again, to start, we are in our program here. We want to hit new file. And then we again have to check our same settings. So VEX Cortex communication mode, make sure you have VEXNet or USB selected since we are sending this to the actual robot. Then down to the platform type, make sure we have VEX 2.0 Cortex, and we need to select natural language project lead the way. And that is all set up. Our next setup is going to be our motor and sensor setup for this activity. This activity, we're going to have our same left and right motors. So that should be motors here, sorry. Our same left and right motors. So in port 1, we're going to have the left motor, and that is a 393 motor. No motors in these ports. And then in port 10, we have our right motor. And VEX 393 motor. Okay, for the analog sensors, again, there's not going to be any for this activity, so we can just go ahead and clear this all out. And the digital sensors is going to be just our push button again. So that way we are able to set this up, just like the last activity, where nothing happens until we press the push button. That way we don't just turn our robot on and it starts driving itself around. We get to control when it starts. Make sure you select digital in, because nothing's going to happen until you put something into the system. That is all of our motors and sensors set up. So we are ready to write our code. So the first thing you want to do, we've used it before, this wait until. You want to bring this in again for the push button so nothing happens until we press it. Select your push button, so when it is 0 or when it is pressed is when this will start. The newer commands that we're going to be using in this activity are going to be the repeat we've used last time. So you can bring that in. We're going to be repeating this 3 times. And since you have to drive out and back 3 different times, we'll just repeat this. But we also have to use a variable. Okay, so in here for the variable, we're going to put this before the repeat command because this doesn't change. This just stays the same throughout. And what we will do is inside of our repeat is we will add the variable again, but we will multiply it by 2. So we're going to start at this given variable, and then we will slowly increase throughout each time that the code repeats. So what we're going to be changing is time. So I can click this down arrow and hit add variable, and just type in time. And we're going to select a value. We want to start it. We want it to start at, oh, sorry, not this one. Okay, the next command that we're going to bring in is variable number. It's on the left side here under variables. Okay, this is going to allow us to start with a given time or number that we choose. So the robot will drive out and back for this amount of time. And then what we'll do is inside the repeat command, we will put the same variable and we're going to multiply it by 2. So I can click down and see I already have time because I have done this before. But if you do not have time already, you may need to hit this add variable and you can type in a new name for a variable. So I'm going to select time and I'm going to start with, we'll say 2 seconds. So this is saying that when this starts, I'm going to press the button and the robot is going to drive forward and then in reverse for 2 seconds. And so I need to come in here now. I would do my start motors, choose my left and right motor. I'm not going to do both of them just to save time, but you would need to turn on both of these so it drives straight. The next new thing I want to show you is for wait. We've used the wait command, so we are waiting while the motors are on, gives the robot time to drive. But instead of us giving the actual time here and typing in 2, we're going to type in word time, our same variable here. So now this is saying, okay, we're going to wait, not the number we give, but the number that we've given up here. So right now this is equal to 2. So right now our robot's going to wait 2. Then we can not stop our motor, but we're going to start our motor again, but it's going to go in reverse. Okay, that way our robot doesn't need to turn around. We can just drive straight backwards. So, and to do reverse, you need to put in a negative 95. You're not going in a reverse direction, but you are basically saying, I turn the motor on, it spins clockwise to the right at this speed right here, 95. Now it's going to spin the same speed, but in the opposite direction. So the wheel will turn in the opposite direction, and that's going to allow us to go in reverse. And then we can then put that same weight. That way we get all the way back to our starting point, and we're going to put time again. Okay, so at this point, our robot would press the button, start the right motor for 2 seconds, wait those 2 seconds, and then it's going to start or take that same motor that was already on and have the wheels spin the opposite direction, and it's going to wait that 2 seconds again. The last new piece we're going to need here is the variable again. So we scroll up on the left here to our variables. We can put in variable expression for this one. Variable expression. So we're going to select our variable, time. We're going to select its normal value, which is time. Under variables, all the way down to the bottom, you can select time again. And we want to multiply it by 2. Right now it's going to add. Go to our little star, and we type 2. All right, so this would be pretty much all of our code. Like I said, this is going to take us now. We press the button. We have our variable. It sets it at 2. Once we press that button, our motors turn on. They wait that 2 seconds. Our motors go in reverse. They wait that 2 seconds again. And now before we restart the command again for the second time it repeats, it's going to take our 2 and multiply it by 2. So the second repetition of this, our motor will turn on and turn off the same and go in reverse. But instead of driving out for 2 seconds, it's going to drive out 4. And then the third time we go around, it's going to drive out 8. So what this does is it changes the distance or the amount of time that our robot is driving without us having to write super long code that ends up taking up 30, 35 lines. This takes up not even 10. Okay. Make sure when you're doing yours that you do use both the right and the left motor. Otherwise, your robot's just going to spin. It won't drive straight. But I think at this point, our program is ready to, again, compile, download, and we can see what happens. So I'm going to skip ahead to that point and show you what you should end up with.